Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at certain companies or certain leaders and just wondered, how do they do it? Why are some people in organizations so much more innovative, so much more influential, and yeah, more profitable than others? And not just once, but over and over again? It's a fantastic question, and trust me, the answer is probably not what you're thinking.
To really get this, we're going to hop in a time machine. Let's go all the way back to the turn of the 20th century. The whole world was buzzing, you know? Technology was exploding, and one of the biggest races of the time was the mission for powered manned flight. I mean, everyone who was anyone wanted to be the first person to truly conquer the skies.
So, on one side of the ring, you've got Samuel Pierpont Langley. This guy had everything going for him. He had a $50,000 grant from the War Department, which was an absolute fortune back then. He put together a dream team of the smartest minds money could buy. The New York Times was following him everywhere. He was the odds-on favorite. And then you've got the Wright brothers. They were funding their entire dream with the profits from their little bicycle shop. Their team? Well, it was them and a few friends. Tons of passion for sure, but not a single college degree in the group.
So what gives? How on earth did the underdogs from Dayton, Ohio pull it off when this super well-funded, better-equipped team completely failed? You might think it was luck or maybe they just worked harder, but that's not it. There was something else going on, something deeper, a hidden pattern that, it turns out, explains almost all incredible success stories.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This pattern, it's not just about inventing flying machines. You see it pop up in totally different arenas, from groundbreaking technology to massive social movements. It's the common thread among some of the most influential leaders and brands in all of history.
Just think about Apple Computer. For most of its life, Apple's had a tiny slice of the computer market. But they consistently lead the entire industry in innovation. They command a loyalty that is just off the charts. People will literally camp out for days just to be the first to buy their new phone. Why? Because from day one, Apple's mission was never just to sell computers. It was about challenging the status quo, empowering the individual. That was their why.
Or think about Martin Luther King Jr. In the summer of '63, 250,000 people showed up on the mall in Washington, D.C. Now, there were no email blasts, no website to check the date. People just showed up. They showed up for him, yeah, but more than that, they showed up for themselves. They weren't there because he had a perfect 10-point plan. They were there because they believed what he believed. He gave a speech about his dream.
So look at this. We've got two bicycle mechanics, a college dropout who built a computer company, and one of the greatest civil rights leaders of all time. What could they possibly have in common? Well, it turns out they all thought, they all acted, and they all communicated in the exact same way. And that way is the complete, total opposite of how pretty much everyone else does it. There is a single, powerful framework that explains it all.
And that framework, my friends, is called the Golden Circle. It's this beautifully simple idea uncovered by Simon Sinek that finally puts a name to this pattern of inspiration. This is the key that unlocks the whole mystery.
Okay, so here it is, the Golden Circle. It's 3 concentric circles. On the very outside, you have what? Every single company on the planet knows what they do. They know the products they sell or the services they offer. Moving in one layer, you have how. Some companies know how they do what they do. This is their unique selling proposition, their proprietary process. But right there in the center, that's the bullseye. That's the why. And very, very few people or organizations can clearly articulate why they do what they do. And let's be clear, your why is not to make a profit. That's always a result. The why is your purpose, your cause, your belief. It's the reason your organization even exists.
Now, here's the secret sauce. Almost all of us and almost every company, we communicate from the outside in. It makes sense, right? We start with the clearest thing, what we do, and we work our way to the fuzziest thing, the why. We say, this is what we do, this is how we're better, and then we expect people to buy in. But those inspiring leaders, those amazing organizations, they all think, act, and communicate from the inside out. They start with why.
And this just nails it. This is the core idea right here. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. The goal isn't to sell to people who need what you have. The goal is to connect with people who believe what you believe.
And look, this isn't just some clever marketing tactic or a feel-good opinion. The reason the Golden Circle is so incredibly powerful is because it's grounded in the actual biology of the human brain. This isn't my opinion. This is straight-up science.
If you look at a cross-section of the human brain, it maps perfectly onto the Golden Circle.
Our newest brain, the neocortex, corresponds to the what level. This is the part that's responsible for all of our rational, analytical thought and language. The middle two sections make up our limbic brain, and that's responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior, all decision-making. And here's the kicker. It has no capacity for language.
That little biological fact explains so much. It's why you can be presented with an overwhelming amount of facts and figures, and you just say, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. That's your gut decision, and it comes from that limbic brain. See, when we communicate from the inside out, when we start with why, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior. And then we let people use the what's, the tangible features and benefits, to rationalize that gut decision. It just feels right.
Okay, so the theory is mind-blowing, right? But how do you actually use it? How do you bring it to life? Because it's one thing to kind of know your why, but it's a whole other ballgame to actually live it, to build an entire company or a movement around it.
To really put this into action, you need balance across three things. First, you need clarity of why. You have to be able to articulate why you do what you do. Then, you need the discipline of how. Your values and guiding principles have to be the things that bring your cause to life. And finally, you absolutely need consistency of what. Everything you say and everything you do has to prove what you believe. When you get all three of those in balance, that's when you build real, lasting trust. So, after all that, after looking at the Wright brothers and Apple and this whole incredible pattern of inspiration, it really all boils down to one simple question. And it's a question that doesn't just apply to billion-dollar companies or historical figures, it applies directly to you. So, what is your why?